Welcome back to A People's Guide to Publishing. I'm Joe Beal, the founder and CEO of Microcosm Publishing and Distribution. I'm also the author of A People's Guide to Publishing, which distills what I've learned from selling millions of books over the past 25 years.
I'm Ellie Blue. I'm the editorial and marketing director here at Microcosm. We are an independent mid-list publisher based in Portland, Oregon. We have 14 employees, over 650 titles in print with 20 to 40 new books per year, and we distribute thousands of titles from other publishers.
We started this podcast so that we can share what we've learned with newer publishers so that you can learn from our mistakes.
Or maybe you just want to understand the publishing industry.
This week, we are going to answer another reader question.
Publisher question.
Was that a question?
No, that was an interruption.
Oh, okay. Another publisher interruption. Got it. And this one is pretty adorable. I feel like the ultimate Dear Abby headline. Bedroom publisher seeking enlightenment. Which I'm like, aren't we all? Aren't we all? But they have devoured the book, the workbook, the podcast, and they feel like it's all very helpful, and they very much know what their niche is, and they're very passionate about their niche, but they've gotten to the point where it's time to start publishing, and they're kind of at a dead stall. So if I contract for an offset print run, say 2,000 copies, what do I do next? Do I warehouse these books in my bedroom and mail them off myself? Do I sign with a distributor and just tell the printer, please ship my precious babies to the fancy faraway distributor X5000? Please feel free to assume that I know as little ever and that I am the greenest publisher ever to email your podcast.
Oh.
Thank you.
Bedroom publisher. You're awesome.
Mm-hmm. I know, and I guess this is sort of so kudos to you, bedroom publisher seeking enlightenment, because I feel like this is actually the problem that everyone has and nobody will really admit it.
Right. This is where people totally get stuck, and they usually get stuck on the but I could never keep all those books in my bedroom.
Right, and that seems to be what leads people to, print on demand or, having just low ambitions and expectations that are inevitably fulfilled.
So what is your advice?
So my advice would be, and I feel like there's two solid chapters about this in the book, which are fundamentally knowing your audience, having a plan, knowing what why your audience is interested in your work, and or how to reach them. And I feel like if we had a little bit more in the world of specifics, we could give you a little bit more in the world of specifics, but I also love keeping these questions general so they literally apply to everyone, and I do feel like, again, your bravery makes this applicable to the many hundreds of thousands of people that have this question, some of which will watch this program, but the, in the beginning, I guess my own stories of failure might be helpful in that, once upon a time, we had this moment, this crossroads where we were like, okay, we're going to print 2,000 books. We have no idea if that's too many or too few. And, if you have the idea that it's too many and do fewer, then it probably is going to be inevitably made true. So what you want to do is, think about the kinds of retailers that would sell them. And, most distributors aren't going to take you on your first book on the merit of your niche and your mission and your commitment to those things. They will take you on the merit of your overall publishing program. Meaning, I have these books coming out this season, and I have these books coming out next year, and this is sort of the grander plan, and I have tentative agreements for these books thereafter, and we're doing all these, we have, the board is lighting up, and so, but they really want to see you achieving that more so than they want to see you just having grand ambition, So, the best way to do it really is to put those first 2,000 books in your basement and then get on, your email and get on the telephone and contact the stores that would organically sell the kind of books that you're writing.
Do a pre-order campaign.
Yeah.
And get some mailing stuff in your bedroom. And you don't have to keep them all in your bedroom. And if you don't have a basement, maybe you have a friend who has a basement, or maybe you live somewhere where a storage unit is $14 a month, or somewhere you want to be able to access them, but maybe not be tripping over them. Though I have seen people use their books as furniture.
I've seen people that use their books as their box spring and their bed frame.
The only problem is if you're too successful, you no longer have a bed.
You'll just be, it's kind of a depressing narrative to sink lower and lower to the ground as you become more and more successful. But that's kind of what writing and publishing is, so who can really say? Was that too real? I'm sorry. That
was very real. I think being a bedroom publisher is very, accessible, charming. I lost my train of thought. I'm not really awake yet. Sorry, bedroom publisher. I'm still thinking about bed. Sleeping.
Oh, gotcha. But the thing, with being any size, caliber, whatever of publisher is, it's the same. If you can't connect to your audience with no material support, then you're not going to be able to connect to your audience with a distributor supporting you, because fundamentally there needs to be demand at all levels to make it work, because a distributor can sell and ship your books all day long, but since books are returnable, that doesn't really get you anywhere, And I guess our own parable is that, we self-distributed for our first 6 years, and then we resumed self-distributing after 2 or 3 years of that, and then we went back to a series of trade distributors after that. And our sales have always been best when we self-distribute, so, you would think that would be better sales because you'd have better access, but nobody is your champion like you, and now I believe we are approaching triple what we were doing in sales to our distributors. So
that's why I'm so tired.
And it's but publishers even, dare I say, sort of act like books are toxic or materially damaging to your hands when you touch them. But that's really where success is found. You really want to find your audience that way and then be able to support your audience rather than having to try and figure out why things are falling apart or not working, So it's a little convoluted, but, there isn't... People in publishing really like there to be rules that if you follow the rules, you'll be successful, and if you do things the correct way, that is what leads you there. But really, it just comes down to your audience, finding and reaching your audience, and repeating that process ad infinitum. There's nothing else to it really, beyond envelopes and mailing and
postage.
Right. And
VAT.
boxes.
Let's not get into that.
Right. VAT only matters if you're exporting outside of the U.S. But and apparently now to the newly formed UK. But it's not. And I don't mean this to sound like more daunting or whatever, because it's really not. It's your success is. Your fate is in your hands rather than in the hands of somebody else that doesn't care about it materially as much as you do. Because it sounds like you really care and really want to succeed, and that's fundamentally what will make you succeed. So just put that same amount of enthusiasm for your niche into finding your audience. And then, we're probably not too far away from the point when you can do conventions and events and signings and
set up at the farmer's market.
Things like that again. And that's because that's like such a key way to find your audience, is like one by one in person that way. I mean, that was like so critical to our success, just like going on big tours well, we don't really do that anymore, but
make sure your promo merch game is on point too, like have a postcard that advertises your book that you can leave places and send home with people.
And think about, like putting that your passionate niche like sort of front and center in as many places as you can, so that people will associate you with that and understand you as that and can then be like, oh, I get it, right, yes, this is what these people are about, even if these people are just you at this time. We hope this helps. Sorry, no magic bullet, but on the plus side, there's no magic bullet, so you can create your own fate. Thanks for joining us once again.
Please send your questions to podcast@microcosmpublishing.com so we can answer them on future episodes.
And please give us 5 stars on iTunes and everywhere else that podcasts are reviewed.
You can find us on the internet at microcosm.pub.
On Twitter at Microcosm.
On Facebook at Microcosm Publishing.
On Instagram at Microcosm_pub.
And here in Portland, Oregon on North Williams Avenue.
Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful week.